Hi, everybody. It's WAPI webinars again. Alex Fridman and my wonderful guest, Rick Wong, today with me. Hi, Rick.
Hey, Alex. It's great to finally be on.
Yeah, thank you. We tried to manage it for 3 months, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, it's a long time coming.
Yeah, wonderful that at last we have managed it. So Rick is founder of Seller Metrics, the Amazon PPC software, right?
Yeah, correct.
Wonderful. So, Rick, maybe you can tell us a little bit of your story. How did you come to ecom world? What is your experience?
Yeah, so I think I kind of this is like way back in like maybe like 2015, 2016. I tried a lot of different online businesses, e-commerce being one of them. Tried different things, eBay, drop shipping, affiliate marketing. And then eventually I kind of settled on Amazon FBA. That kind of stuck, right? And this is back in 2016. So 2016, it was not that of a it wasn't as a competitive marketplace back then. But I mean, every single year, it's always say like they're competitive. It was 2016. They say it was too competitive, but now we are like all the way up to like 2022. They're still saying the same thing. So there's always going to be opportunities. So I started selling on Amazon by ordering 3 products from China in the consumer electronics category. 2 of the 3 did pretty well. Continue on that niche. Eventually, from 2016 all the way up to 2020, I grew that business from 2 SKUs to 25 SKUs, and and then eventually sold it in late 2020. And before I sold it, I think it was around like around 200K a month USD in revenue. Grew that team up to 6 full-time employees. And then after I sold it, I didn't do too much. But I always have an itch to kind of get back into the e-commerce field, but as like a software provider. And I do notice that Amazon advertising is something that a lot of sellers struggle with. And I do notice that in the market out there, there's a lot of products on Amazon PPC that helps you optimize for your ROI, but it does not really help optimize for your time, right? So with Seller Metrics, I kind of designed it so it's not only optimizing the user's ROI, return on investment, but also optimize their time when they sell on like a lot of different marketplaces, kind of like how you're doing with WAPI. Like, you know, you're a marketplace aggregator, right? If any type of seller wants to sell in a lot of different marketplace, WAPI is supposed to save their time to like kind of launch on a lot of different marketplaces. So I kind of build Seller Metrics with this idea, and you know, during the end of the presentation, I'll show you like what I mean in terms of how I structured it to kind of save the user's time.
Before we start, tell us please about what market was the main market. So it's about USA, it's about Canada, it's about Europe, Asia.
Yeah, so my main market was in the US. Also, Germany was a very strong market for me. So yeah, those 2 are like the main markets that I sell in. But when I was selling, I sold in all marketplaces, like maybe like 10 different marketplaces to be exact. So that includes like the Far East, like Australia, and also Japan as well.
So Seller Metrics helps not only with Amazon now?
No, it's only still Amazon, but it supports all Amazon marketplaces. Basically, I think like it's up to like maybe like 18 different marketplaces now. Seller Metrics supports them all. Okay,
cool, super. So I guess we will hear some interesting things today. Our topic for everybody today is very interesting. It sounds like quick and dirty tutorial on Amazon PPC with us, Rick Wong, and let's listen to it.
Yeah, so in this quick webinar, I try to like condense just the basics on Amazon PPC advertising. So for you to like, start trying some like actionable step that I kind of suggest in this mini presentation that could maybe, make an improvement on your ROI right away, lowering your ACoS. Okay, so who am I? So I'm based in Toronto, Canada. Got into Amazon third-party selling in 2016, as I mentioned, and kind of create like a 7-figure brand on Amazon FBA in the consumer electronics niche. I sold my Amazon business in 2020, and for those of you that are interested in the actual sales process of an Amazon FBA business, I kind of have a bit of like an article out that kind of details my sales process, and maybe I can get Alex to link it out in the area below.
Sure. You can find it below the video in the description.
And then, as mentioned, I founded Seller Metrics in the Amazon PPC software at the end of 2020, and I'm also a father of now 1.5-year-old daughter.
Cool.
Okay, so I think why Amazon PPC, right? Amazon PPC stands for pay per click. So basically, a shopper clicks on your ad, you have to pay Amazon a fee to advertise your product. So the key thing, sales, that is basically the main reason why you want to use Amazon PPC. And there is also like a direct relationship between the sales that you attribute on Amazon PPC to your organic ranking, which is very different than say like Google search or say Facebook or something, right? Like your PPC and your organic ranking has kind of like a relational effect to each other. And this relationship is also what we call a flywheel effect. Like it's like a positive feedback loop if you use like Amazon PPC correctly. So with Amazon PPC, you're gonna get like more impressions. If you do it right, more clicks, higher conversions, lower and higher conversion rate would in turn lower your cost per click for advertising your product. That would allow you to achieve even higher ranking, more profit and sales. And this like flywheel just keeps going until you loop up until possibly you rank #1 on Amazon for your niche, right? And also the fact that nowadays you can't really get away with just ranking organically, because nowadays if you actually go to the Amazon website itself, half of the placements are ads, right? And like the other half, and actually there's a shrinking share of that you'll see on the Amazon search result, that actually there's actually a less and less portion of like the results are actually organic placements. So since Amazon is like putting advertising placement all over the place, there's really hard to get around the fact that you would need PPC to get additional visibility for your product. And I think, as an Amazon PPC practitioner and also a software provider, I think the one key metrics that a lot of Amazon seller need to keep an eye on, if there is just like one metrics that you want to keep an eye on other than ACoS, right? ACoS is like the advertising cost of sales for Amazon sellers. I think you guys know what it is. It's very basic. It's basically your ad spend divided by your sales. So obviously the lower the ACoS is, the better. So the other metric that you really want to look is cost per click, right? Why you want to really look at the cost per click. So it's really a direct proxy to the competitiveness of the market. So if your cost per click is relatively low compared to your average order value, then the market is like not that competitive. But if it's like high, right, relatively to the sale price, then it's like a very hyper competitive market. And one example I can give is cell phone, where cost per click could be like $2 while you're selling a product that is like maybe $10. So basically every single click is like 20% of your product cost. That is like, that ratio is just way too high, right? So that just indicates to you this is like hyper competitive. Another reason why cost per click is very important is that by manipulating your cost per click, you could directly lower your ACoS and in turn increase ROI. And also cost per click is something that you can work out to get your cost per acquisition, right? Which in turns give you like a more realistic target ACoS.
If the cost per click is almost the price of the product, you'll definitely understand that it is too high. But how to understand that cost per click is well optimized? So how to find out, is it competitive result, what cost per click I have, if it is like not obvious that it is too high?
Yeah, it's not obvious. So so if it's like obvious, right, then it makes like launching a new product that much easier. So getting like an optimized cost per click is like a very individualized, is very individualized based on the seller, right? You guys could be selling the same niche, your cost per click profile could be like very different, right? It could be because of the reviews. It could be because your listing is like a lot more optimized than your competitor. So there's really no way for you to actually know an optimized cost per click until like you actually test it out, right? That actually is like one of the hard part of like launching your product on Amazon, getting the right cost per click profile for your product. So, to talk a little bit more about ACoS, right? There's also something called Breakeven ACoS, which is like the ACoS that you need to get before you actually need to be lower to before you get to your profitable area for your campaign, right? So break-even ACoS, you could view it as basically your profit margin on a per unit level, right? Let's just say your profit margin, your net profit margin is 22%. Basically, your break-even ACoS is 22%. So if your Amazon campaign is greater than 22%, then you're actually losing money in your campaign. Vice versa, right? If your ACoS is lower to 22%, right, then your campaign is profitable, right? And you can see like the actual breakdown here. If you're basically, as in you see your Amazon on like kind of a unit economics level, this is kind of how it kind of looks like. Your cost of goods sold is 35%, FBA fees 13, marketplace fees 15, and then your ads should be around 50% of your overall sales. So your net margin in this particular example is 22. So that would be your break-even ACoS. So it's the ACoS before you can break even on your campaign. And I also want to state that your break-even ACoS is not always equals to your target ACoS, but your target ACoS should be kind of within the range of your break-even ACoS, right? It's kind of like your benchmark. You could go higher or lower than that, but that should be your range, right?
Okay.
And there's like two Amazon campaign target types. There's like the automatic and there's a manual. Each have their own place in the Amazon product lifecycle, as when you want to use these campaign at what point of your Amazon launch, right? So a lot of times you want to really use your automatic campaign during the beginning of your launch, because it really helps you to kind of do the research, gather the right information, the keywords, your cost per click, right? So you kind of know what the market is saying about your product before you kind of get the right data and put this information into your manual campaign, right? So three key difference between like the automatic campaign and manual campaign is that the keywords is automatically chosen by Amazon. For manual campaign, you choose the keyword to advertise for. The bid, you set a bid on a campaign level for automatic, and then for manual, each keyword you actually set like a specific bid for the keyword. So you have like a lot more control on your manual campaigns than your automatic. right? And automatic, a lot of times, like PPC beginners would use that first because you choose less variables than say the manual campaign, so it's really easy to start. As mentioned, I already mentioned the pros and cons for this. You could take a look at the slide in greater detail. So I suggest when you launch your product, first use automatic and then use manual, but eventually you kind of want to continue to use both. They are at the end of the day much more complementary to each other. I kind of view automatic campaign as your hunter, but your manual campaign is like a farmer type of a campaign that could consistently review sales on a very more of a consistent basis than your auto. Okay, so I talked a lot about theory in the last couple of slides. I'm gonna give you like 5 exact steps for you to optimize your Amazon PPC campaign, right? So it's 5 steps. So if you do this 5 steps on a weekly basis, you probably basically within 90% chance that you could actually lower your ACoS almost immediately. So step number 1 would be block the bleeders, right? Blocking the bleeders means that you try to find these keywords that doesn't really attribute to any sales, but you're actually spending money on them. So what I would do is set the last 60 days as a date range, anything greater than 8 or anything that equals to 8 or greater than 8 clicks with 0 orders. And I would decrease all these keywords to a minimum bid of 0.02 in the US marketplace, or whatever the minimum bid is in your marketplace. So this prevents any of your budget from accruing to these specific keywords or targets that doesn't attribute to any type of sales. Step 2, that would be downbid the high ACoS, right? So anything ACoS that is higher than 100% from the last 60 days, anything that is greater than or equal to 8 clicks, because you want an X amount of clicks before you kind of make a decision. Reason why you want to do that is because if it's too little clicks, I think it's too early to make a decision. A lot of times you could work that out backwards, as in your conversion rate. So if your conversion is 20%, the chances are you need 8 to 9 clicks before you actually make 1 order. So that is the logic behind that. And then anything that is over a 100% ACoS, you're gonna set your bid, right, from your cost per click. Using your cost per click as a benchmark, decrease your cost per click by 50%. And that is your new optimized bid for anything above 100% ACoS. Step 3, right? So you're also going to downbid in this point for anything that is above 40%, less than 100% ACoS. Very similar to the step 2 criteria. But in this step, you're just going to filter out by greater than 40 and less than 100% ACoS. And in this case, you're going to decrease the bid by 25% by multiplying your cost per click here by 75. And this is your new optimized bid. 4, there are some keywords that you probably over optimize for, right? So in this case, you want to give them additional chance to get additional impressions. So you're going to do the opposite. You're going to upbid these keywords in this step. So that would be anything that is greater than 8 or more clicks, less than 20%. And in this case, you're going to increase the bid by 20%, 25% by multiplying your cost per click times 125%, which increase your bid by 25%, right? So this is so that's step 4, and then the final step. Step 5 is adding negative. So if you're gonna do one of the steps that could lower your ACoS right away, this would be it, right? So in this case, you are going to how you're gonna go to this is that you're gonna go to your campaign, your ad group, right? And then you're going to go to search terms. In this particular screen, you are going to filter by 60 days, anything greater than 8 clicks and equals to 0 orders. And then in the columns action, right, you are going to add these keyword as negative, right? And then you can see like right here, 14 clicks for this particular search term and attributed to 0 orders. So adding as a negative will add it as a negative keyword, preventing any type of your budget, any budget from filtering into like this particular search term. So I'm going to step through the common mistakes that a lot of Amazon sellers make that would prevent them from being successful. So a lot of these mistakes is also the ones that I have made in the past. Let me see how many slides I have left. Yeah, first of all is not naming your campaign in the correct structured way. So here, I don't know, so there's like 4 campaigns, right? Let's just say I have like, say, scale it up to like 50. At this point, it's really hard for me to attribute what type of campaign this is. Is this like growth campaign? Is this like kind of like your more established campaign? Is it sponsored brands, sponsored products, etc.? So below is what you should be naming your campaign to. So for example, if your campaign is sponsored product, your ASIN is this ASIN, for example, your product just launched. So your campaign structure should be SP, sponsored product. It's a manual campaign. It's a keyword campaign type. And this is like the product identifier. And then lastly, this will be your strategy. So by naming it properly, you could basically attribute and scale up your campaign much easier. Second mistake is also adding too many keywords in ad group. In Amazon PPC, ad groups allows you to add 1,000 keywords, but you do not need to use the whole 1,000 keyword slot. So my solution to this is basically add anything that is, do not add more than 100 keywords or product targets at a time on an ad group level. Third mistake is also not using cost per click in your bid adjustment calculation. So as I mentioned, cost per click is the market cost of your bid, all right, of your winning bid. It is like the best baseline metric coming with an optimized bid. So let's just say your bid is $1, your cost per click is 50 cents, right? Your current ACoS is 50%, right? But your target is 25. So the logic for this is that you need to get your ACoS lower by 50%. And how can you do this, right? So basically you need to decrease your cost per click, right? By 50%. And if you do not do that, you can see that example, right? If you only decrease the bid by 50%, right? The dollar changes to 50 cents. That is not going to lower your cost per click because your cost per click is already 50 cents. Fourth mistake is also not optimizing your product listing. So as I mentioned, Amazon PPC related to your organic sales and traffic. So if your listing is not optimized, one key metrics that Amazon see in the backend is relevancy, and relevancy has a direct correlation with conversion rate, right? And having your listing optimized is basically the first step in your positive feedback group to generate higher conversions and lower cost per click and lower ACoS. If your listing is not optimized, once you're getting more clicks, this will actually become lower, like lower conversion rate. And this will have all these like follow on loops, right? Will actually spiral down, as in this your cost per click will become higher, your ranking will become lower, your sales and profit shrinks. And that will, if you don't have your listing optimized, that will start your your negative feedback loop, and you just spiral downwards until your profit is like a big loser in terms of ROI. Okay, so I think that's more or less the presentation in terms of like try to like get in a bit of like Amazon PPC optimization in this webinar. So I also want to like mention that seller metrics, what we do is basically we try to like work out a lot of the stuff that I just mentioned, but in a more of like algorithmic and also automated fashion. So basically, we would take the guesswork out of a lot of the PPC optimization that you just see. We optimize the 5 optimization steps that I just discussed in the webinar. We make automatic bid changes and optimization across all of your marketplaces and campaign. And when I did mention that, how we can actually help the sellers in terms of launching in different marketplaces, is that our dashboard consolidates all the marketplace data together, right? And basically you can create all your automation rules together across all your marketplace in one login. So this allows you to really like scale out selling on different marketplaces without really like scaling up your time while doing it. And I also have a special coupon code for any viewers watching this webinar, WAPI 50, which gives you 50% off for the first 3 months. I should have mentioned that actually, but I think Alex can also mention this in the description below as well.
Thank you very much. And 40 days trial, I see. So thank you very much. All the details will be under the video, so you can stop sharing the presentation. Thank you for preparing it. Some basics. I love always the part with the common mistakes, because it is very easy to understand when people see that they already also did these mistakes and now they see the answer, how to improve it.
Yeah, and a lot of the common mistakes is actually mistakes that I made in the past. It's actually a mistake that I experienced that I kind of learned along the way. So, being an Amazon seller, making those mistakes, I'm pretty sure would help any new or even intermediate Amazon sellers out.
Cool, thank you. I have such question for you. Among the basics, maybe something like a life hack or something trendy for this year, something new that can help sellers to be successful on Amazon. Something from nowadays. What people can use that is some tricks. I don't know, anything. What you can share with us.
I think there's 2. I think a lot of time, a lot of people have been using Facebook ads in the past to drive traffic. Google ads, I think TikTok ads is actually pretty good now to drive additional traffic to your Amazon listing. And you could also really grab, if your product caters to a particular audience, it's very easy to find proper influencers that to promote your product. The ROI on that is still better than say Instagram or Facebook right now, because it's still a relatively new marketing channel for Amazon sellers. 2, it's not like a particular new hack, but it's a hack that is like a lot of sellers don't really know about, is that you could actually advertise your product on ebooks, right? On ebook listing. So if you guys anybody that have an actual Kindle, right, that order books, basically the listing for the books is very similar to an Amazon product, and there's actually ads in place for that, right? So there's ads in the actual listing page, so you can actually advertise your physical product on these ebooks. And for example, you're selling a yoga product, you can advertise your product on a yoga book, right? Yoga ebook or yoga actual physical book. The great thing about this is that your competition level is relatively low because your cost per click would be much lower because your competitors on that page is other books, and the other books a lot of times sells for less than your actual physical product, right? So it's actually very easy to get like a much better ROI advertising on ebooks than say competing on the other physical product pages.
And people see it in the Amazon Kindle while they're choosing the book?
Not on Kindle, but on the basically when they like just basically shop on the actual Amazon website or on their phone, right? It would show up because I think
on the Kindle that I haven't seen anytime.
No, I think the Kindle, I think it's for the screensaver. I think they only allow books for that. But for the product listing page, yeah, you can advertise on that, no problem.
Cool, that's very interesting. Thank you for this hack.
Yeah, no worries.
One more question will be how to be successful in general in business.
I would say take everything one step at a time. I think in business, like anything that you really want to do in the long term seems very daunting. But if you kind of break it down step by step, right, it makes it a lot easier to digest and easier for you to take action. So first thing is like break it down, and second thing is just take action. For example, if you're an Amazon seller, I think the first thing that you want to do is basically open an Amazon account, right? And then from then on, do product research, right? That's your next step, and then right? So you don't go into starting an Amazon business with the mindset, okay, I'm gonna start a big brand, a 7-figure brand, right? You kind of start by figuring out, reverse engineering everything backwards, right? I'm gonna need to sign up account, I need to research for the product, determine my niche, source the product, and then on and on you go. So I think that's my number one suggestion for that.
Cool, thank you very much. So everybody who needs help to optimize their listings, who want great results, please contact Rick. The salary metrics will definitely help you. Especially you have now the coupon WAPI 50 and you get a 50% discount. That's a great opportunity for you. Don't lose it. For everybody,
thank you for having me, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today. For everybody who needs help in fulfillment and delivery in all the countries of Europe to localize your listings, to help you to go to all the local marketplaces in Europe, please contact us, WAPI. We will be very, very passionate to help you do this and to do it successfully. Thank you very much. Stay tuned and stay with WAPI.